Yeah, Talon's in your house.
Yeah, Talon's
Court of
in the house.
Owls.
Yeah,
Court of
yeah.
Owls.
Court of Owls. There you go. All right, Andres, you can go, sir. We're ready to go.
All right. Well, hello everyone. This is Andreas Pop Culture Guy. Today, I'm monitoring this time around for a DC Ammunition direct review. Of course, this is the new 52 lineup. Of course, we're reviewing the sequel to The Son of Batman, Batman versus Robin. Of course, I'm here with the great Jeff S. TrueKnowledge, who is the co-host of MCU'S Bleeding Edge. We got Cyber here, of course, also co-host of Bleeding Edge. How you guys doing?
We are awesome.
Fabulous. So always good to be here with Jesse Starcher, sir.
Yes,
Ready to rock it out.
Yeah, most definitely. This is fucking great.
And we're not alone here. We got also Jesse S. Oh my God, I cannot speak today. Jess Star, who's here today. Thank you for coming. I'm so happy you're here, brother. It's great to see you.
Yeah, man. I'm glad to be back talking some DC animated with you guys. It's going to be a blast.
From Source Material Comics Podcast, Andre, sir.
Thank you. I'm sorry, blue blanking. I need to start doing a script. Actually, script.
It took me a long time to even remember my own podcast.
Is that the DeLorean from Back to the Future? You're back there behind you, Jesse.
Yeah. I got that for Christmas. I just made it my background forever.
Oh, cool. It looks super fucking like super sci-fi scientific looking. You know, like more than
Hell yeah, buddy. Love Back to the Future. One of my favorite films.
Well, that's true. And so right now tonight we're reviewing Batman versus Robin. Oh my God. This is the 23rd film of the DC Animation retro film / universe. Very weird DC Animation movie universe, let's call that. And this movie is pretty interesting. It's based on a couple New 52 stuff. Obviously, it's based on the big Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo run Batman Court of Owls. And it's also based on Batman Robin Born to Kill by Peter Tomasi and Patrick Gleason, the writer, the artist for that run. And of course, Technica Space of Death art by Tony S. They named a few of the like inspiration for this sequel to the 2014 Son of Batman. So let me go Red Robin to you guys. Just your initial thoughts about this movie. Let me just go very fast here. I actually personally like this film more than the first film, Son of Batman. I thought this was a step up in terms of quality. I really like they were using more, Batman storylines that we rarely seen in some of the live action Batman movies. So I was very happy to see Court of Owls being the main, focus. You know, that's been a big, new theme from New 52. So I really like what they did there. And of course, definitely more of the Batman-Robin relationship, particularly this Damian and Bruce Wayne. So let me go with you, Jeff. What's your thoughts on this movie? Do you like it more than the first film or less? Go ahead.
Are you watching a movie, sir?
You remember House of Dragon? My mom and I are watching Game of Thrones.
I'm listening to it, sir. It's very entertaining. I'm really enjoying it. It doesn't throw me off or anything at all. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm totally stoic with it and everything. It doesn't even bother me.
We're halfway through.
Things like that never bothered me at all. I'm totally cool. But anyways, well, that's really good to hear, sir. I'm glad that you're as usual multitasking. That's always good to hear. I like to see that kind of personal growth. Anyways, I don't know. I like DC animated films quite a bit, but for the most part, this stuff where they feature Batman with Damian Wayne, I don't know, man. It's just not my bag, I don't think, honestly, to tell you the truth, like, if it was up to me, I like seeing the Justice League in these films. You know what I'm saying? Like, overall, more than anything, probably, like, I like seeing Wonder Woman and Green Lantern and Superman and Batman and, like, together. You know what I'm saying? And So, I don't mind. Some of the best DC animated films we've watched were Batman ones. Like I'm not gonna pretend that's not reality. But just something about that team up of the two characters together as the feature characters of the films. It's just not my ideal DC animated film. What I really would love like to kind of overall watch. I guess if I'm going to sit down and watch one, I'd rather see the Justice League personally. But every Batman DC animated has its positives and its negatives at the end of the day, and I think that I did appreciate for the most part the animation was all right. I didn't really have any gripes, and the voice acting was pretty solid. I know that the voice actor for Batman in this one is that voice actor that's very well known, or whatever. It's been around in a lot of films. So the Batman voice acting was pretty solid, which is an important aspect of these films, right? Making sure that Batman is voiced correctly, or like decently, so that's good in the film. The Bruce Wayne stuff is handled well, but of course it's usually always handled pretty well in DC animated fashion. It's never really a problem when they go in the Bruce Wayne direction. I really didn't enjoy the flashbacks to the parents' murder, stuff that they tried to do. I really didn't feel like that was necessary for the film. That they went there with that, and they did it more than once. I didn't like that. They could have skipped that for me. I've seen that so many times. I don't need to see it like anymore. Really. It's been done. So yeah, I mean, that chick that Batman was like having dinner with or whatever at the mansion or whatever at that one point was pretty hot. So they managed to pull off the females looking hot in the DC animated, which is good because kind of a couple of them they haven't. And we've seen some really rough looking, like butch looking, like bull-like looking chicks and shit like that. And we don't want that. So I don't know, man. Overall, I was not enthralled by Batman versus Robin, and I felt like the title was kind of a kind of a silly in a way, because like going into it, it's not really going to be Batman versus Robin, and it wasn't Batman versus Robin. Like that wasn't the focus of the movie. So I was kind of a little bit. It's like a real dishomer there. Like why title it that? Besides that, sir, that's it.
Thank you. Yeah, I had to agree. I don't like. We're gonna just like foreshadow the future of the other DC direct-to-animation movies. We got a couple direct-to-videos that have weird titles that doesn't make sense. Like whenever we get to the new Titanius movie they have here in this lineup, doesn't make sense. They just did that. Yeah, I agree. Why just call it Batman and Robin, the Court of Owls? That makes more sense as a title. So I agree with you, Jeff. Cyber, your thoughts on this film? Do you liked it more than the first film, Son of Batman, or less? Go ahead.
I see it as a standalone film from the other one, but I did enjoy this. I thought it was fun. Overall, I really enjoyed it. I thought it had some interesting dark material they decided to go with. The amalgamation of the doll maker in this I thought was interesting. And then, of course, the whole, like, of course, your son doesn't want to listen to you doing their own thing. I just would want to slap the kid. I'm sorry. That was the only thing I hated about this film is I just would want to bitch slap my son because I would not be putting up with that shit. I'm just like, what the hell I'm like, dude, you're 10. You listen to me. I'm your father. So that was the only thing that really I disliked about it. But overall, I really enjoyed the story. And I thought the action in it was good. I mean, there's a couple times there I thought they were going to show some full-on nudity there, in at least one scene, which I was kind of impressed with how dark they decided to go. So I think that overall it's a very, very dark, different take on a Batman animated film. And of course, I'm not a huge fan of the artwork in it, but overall, I still think the film itself was pretty enjoyable.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, I'm not impressed with the art either. Very weak for these directed animation stuff. Jesse, your thoughts on the film? Have you seen The Son of Batman? Give me your just brief thoughts on that, and you thought this was better than that or less? Go ahead.
I did not see the one previous to this, so hearing you guys compare it, it's kind of eye-opening a little bit there. But no, I did not see it, so I didn't know what to kind of look at as far as differences go from the previous one to this one. Yeah, I didn't fully know what I was going to get until I saw the trailer. It's Batman versus Robin, and as soon as I realized it was Damian Wayne, I was like, okay, well, I kind of know where this is going. And then you learn that we're going to be pulling the Court of Owls story in here, which I have not read, but I've heard a lot about. I heard it's pretty good. I was like, okay, all right. So I kind of know what I'm going to expect here. As the film went on, I mean, I didn't have too much to gripe about, really. I think if you're looking for like an action film, it's going to deliver on some of that, but really you get a lot of like Damian Wayne trying to come into his own, and also Batman trying to guide him the right way. And here comes Talon to kind of basically give Damian a life-altering decision. Which way are you going to go? What path are you going to take? Are you going to go down? I think it's right there at the beginning of the movie where he's talking about justice versus vengeance. Justice versus vengeance. And that's a lot of what this movie is about. Damian trying to figure out which one is he going to pick and what kind of person that makes him. So as far as we got it, I mean, I liked what I got here. It was decent. I can't criticize the animation style. It almost had this like anime bent to it. Just a tiny bit. I'm not saying all the way.
Yeah, definitely, Jesse.
Yeah, you could kind of pick up on some elements of that, but yeah, I mean, I thought it was good. It was. I will say that as far as if I was ranking it like as amongst the other stuff that I've seen, I'd probably put it middle tier. And I know we'll possibly do rankings at the end of this. I don't know, but yeah, that I wouldn't say it's top level for me at all. I want a big story. Jeff was talking about like the JLA being involved. That kind of thing is nowhere, that's not in this film. This is a very personal Batman story. So there's my thoughts. Thank you.
Yeah. No. I agree. I agree with Jeff and a lot of you guys saying before. Like, I'm a big Batman fan. We had good Batman direct-to-videos, and even ones that are theatrical release, like Batman Mask of Phantasm, Batman Year One, Dark Knight Returns Part 1 and 2 review. I mean, Under the Red Hood, I mean, that's top tier for me in terms of Batman story, being adapted. So yeah, I agree with you, Jess. It's definitely mid tier. I mean, I'll consider this movie and its first film low tier because it's like, I mean, you have to like this Batman and Robin relationship. It's like so hard to get into, especially in the comics form of Grant Morrison. But yeah, that's not here there. So thank you everyone for your thoughts. I really like it. So let's now kind of get into the movie and right now, let's get into this. So in the beginning of the film, we, Cyber brought this up. It was really cool for the opening to see, Robin doing his kind of like investigation, without Batman. So you see already like right away their relationship is like kind of like what you kind of saw in I'm sorry to bring this up, but Batman Robin, the 1997 horrible / classic film of Joel Schumacher that literally destroyed the Batman franchise, where you see the strained relationship between Batman and Robin. So of course it's not Dick Grayson, it's Batman and Damian Wayne. And so he's investigating a notorious serial killer, aka Dollmaker. By the way, very creepy. I do agree with Cyber when he brought up that, yeah, I really like this version of Dollmaker. He's a very a B tier Batman villain. He's in the Rogues Gallery. And this is a really cool update of the character. I I'm trying to think he was in maybe in Batman Earth One or something like that, but I don't know. Don't call me at that. But really cool, really veteran. He reminds me of a Toyman in the DCAU. When they use him, they made him very creepy there. The Toyman and the Superman animation series. This was like kind of similar to that, so I really like that. So Dollmaker, like if you haven't played the DLC of the Arkham Knight, it was kind of similar to Professor Pig, another classic Batman villain a lot of people know of, where he kind of like creepily socialized these kids into these mindless like zombies, which was creepy. So when Dollmaker sees Robin trying to like get the innocent kids out of the cage, he sends these like Symbolius, hench kids to attack him. And before that, well, while this happened, Batman jumps into the scene. He stops Dollmaker and stops the kids, and we get the little kind of cool tender scene of the kid hugging Batman. That was really neat. And then, but Robin is chasing after Dollmaker, and Jesse, we have to play a game of a drinking game every time we hear justice is not vengeance. Every time
Right.
I saw this today, it was like, oh my god, it's like even the Batman only say a couple times vengeance, but this was just like, oh my god, just like every time it's like justice is not vengeance. I'm like, I get it. I know who's bad. I know he doesn't kill. Like, why you putting this? Oh my god, it was so funny. So that's the running thing. That's cool. Okay, I get that. But then all of a sudden, while Damon didn't kill the Dollmaker, someone else did, and we got our first appearance of the talent. We don't know who he is. He's just this mysterious talent. We don't know what it is. Comes out and he kind of does this like dark giant master slash kind of what Raish did in Batman Begins, kind of enticed the hero. It's like, what are you doing? And he's really he's kind of manipulating and persuading Damian to his more darker and killer instincts, like we saw in the first film, Son of Batman, which me and Cyber Jeff, we reviewed, and Jess, that's what was going on there in that first film. So, but he escapes, and then Batman arrives, and he thinks initially it's Damian, because who else was going to do it? It was either some mysterious ghost or Damian Wayne, aka Robin, who loves killing, and he said, no, it was not me, it was someone else. And this is where we see the kind of distrust that Batman has with Damian, not because he is his son, but he just he's just a different type of kid that's it's a little more difficult because of if you don't know who's Damian Wayne, he was raised by the League of Assassins, by Talia and Ra's al Ghul, who's big bad in the Batman Rose Gallery. So after that, we got our tiles, and then after Damian refused to give the evidence, Batman sees a feather behind, as he saw from in the Dollmaker's body. So Batman come across to Anton's corpse, and especially Damian did kill him, but not due to his past violent actions, but someone else did it. So he does kind of believe in that. But Bruce thinks Damian is too dangerous. Fronting him to place security measures around the Wayne Manor. So around this time, we see how Bruce Wayne is dating that the blonde chick named what's her name, Samantha Bender. Okay, she's as Jeff said, she was good looking, and she walks around with the mansion. We get that cool Alfred telling this kind of embarrassing story to the girlfriend, to how Bruce was as a young kid. That was very nice. And then just wrapping up, she meets up with Damian, who's sleeping in a couch because he was reading one of the Dickens story. I think it was Oliver Twist, if you catch that very quick glimpse of that book. And we get this kind of cool tender of both men, both father and son, getting along a little bit. It's very different from the first movie, but there's still distrust, and so they start to do a movie showing, and he asked Bruce asked Affleck to get some popcorn, and that was very neat. But then after that, this is the stop point where Robin kind of sneaks out from Wayne Manor, and this is where we see the security measures trying to keep Robin away from the public, because the public doesn't know yet that Damian is the ward for Bruce Wayne. That was interesting to see that. So he hasn't been public knowledge yet, like Dick Grayson was, if you know your Batman lore. So let me stop there. Let me go with you, Jess. What you thought about this beginning with the Dollmaker action sequence up to Damian sneaking out from the Wayne Manor? Go ahead.
Did you say
Jesse? Sorry, Jesse.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, that was
making sure. I thought you said Jeff for a second there.
I thought you said Beth. I was like, I had a girlfriend in high school.
There's too many J's in this.
Too many J's. I get it. Yeah. So if I'm starting out here, I'll go ahead and first off, we got to talk about I just got to bring up the voice of the Dollmaker was Weird Al Yankovic. I that blew my mind because I've never seen him play a bad guy other than when he played the fat guy in his music video Fat. Anyway, I love that kind of update of the Dollmaker, or that feel of the Dollmaker. It was very creepy vibes going on there. We get our first little bit of the father-son tension that's kind of between the two, obviously, with that whole bit opens up the film before we even, I think, get to the credits, I think, with the Dollmaker, which is really cool. But yeah, they've obviously got a lot to work on between each other. I don't know at what point, and you guys might know this since you watched the previous film, at what age did Damian come into Bruce's life? Was it 10 years old? Was it just shortly before what we're getting here in this movie?
Yeah, he's 10 years old, if
okay.
I remember correctly from the last movie. Yeah.
Okay. That's a lot of time for a kid to be involved in the League of Assassins, and then now you've got to try and you got to deprogram this kid. He's probably learned a lot the last 10 years, and that's going to take some time. So anyway, it's cool to see Batman he's trying to find some type of level ground. The movie scene that you were talking about, that's just what a father and a son do. Hey, okay, well, you're reading a book, let's go watch the movie that it's based on. And that's a nice way for those two to bond. But yeah, you got to have some kind of trust here. And we can see that that's not the case. Bruce is very concerned about Damian going out by himself and what he will do. And rightfully so, in my opinion. Damian can be a little bit of a loose cannon, and you don't know what exactly he might pull on the next villain. He's leaning a little bit towards vengeance, if you ask me, at the beginning of this, and Bruce believes that's the case. So we are setting up, like I said, this dynamic that's going to follow throughout this whole movie, where Damian and Bruce are going to clash, and hence the title Batman versus Robin. So it's a good setup for the beginning part here.
Thank you, Jesse. Jeff, you're next, sir, and you're our Jeff. Tell me about the beginning of the film up to Damian escaping the Wayne Manor.
Please turn off whatever that is, sir. I can't do both of those. Compete with both of those. I like the House of the Dragon, but not during a podcast. I don't know. Like Jesse said, it's like a solid introduction, for a DC animated film. The Dollmaker guy is a great alternative kind of, I guess, Batman villain, just because he comes from that niche of really bizarre, perverted, kind of, imprisons children and shit like that. You know what I mean? that kind of villain, and I like villains like that, sleazy kind of villains, or crazy ones, right? Like that's cool, I dug that. Makes for a good villain, right? Although he like physically was too much of a little bitch, like like the way that Damien just kind of beat his ass, like the whole time was kind of like that, yeah, I mean, the killer children vibe, like deal that they pulled off in that introduction was cool. I always like seeing crazed, masked children with weapons and shit like that. That was dope. The double buzzword or whatever, character was neat. I like that. I always like seeing, physical knife defense being displayed, in any type of film, right? I like seeing defense techniques and stuff like that against knives, and swords and buzzsaws and things like that. So yeah, I mean, Batman's introduction into the movie is good. I don't know, I don't know. It's kind of weird that Damien's sleuth skills are, I guess, like above Batman's or something like that, to the point where he would send him in first. That's kind of, I don't know about that. Batman is the number one detective, of Gotham or whatever. So that makes no sense to me, that he would send Damian in first. I don't agree with that. I would think Batman would go in first. I've never seen that before until now. And then, we didn't have it again. So it was just the one time. But, yeah, overall, good opening, the little bit of stuff with Damien at Wayne Manor, and their tenuous relationship and all that is kind of, played out to me a little bit. That whole deal is kind of a boring aspect of their dynamic, that they have this tension. I don't really care personally. But it's, I guess it is rewarding to see them, over the across the film. It's nice to see their relationship change, differently, and all that. But that's pretty much it, sir.
All right, good. Saber, you're next. Give me your thoughts on the beginning of the Dollmaker up to Damien escaping from Wayne Manor to sneaking out, sir. That's the stopping point.
So the beginning with the Dollmaker, I think, is pretty solid beginning. I think the Dollmaker is very creepy looking and everything like that. I mean, how they made him look like he's very childlike looking, his clothing and everything with the little mask and stuff like that. And like I said, if you look into it, this Dollmaker is an amalgamation of several Dollmakers. They kind of integrated them together into one. Whereas they call this one with the last name Shot, but really he's an amalgamation of the other versions that we've seen in DC Comics over the years. But him being voiced by Weird Al was absolutely freaking awesome. I couldn't believe it. I was like, no way. I was like, this is just amazing. I love it. But seeing all those the cyber children pop out of those cages, I was like, whoa, this is going dark real quick. And I'm like, wow, this is really going into a dark spot. And I'm like, good for DC Studios at this time. Good for you guys. This is awesome. I mean, you guys are really trying to push the bucket here on PG-13, and at the same time having these robotic children. I'm like, damn, you guys were going dark. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, wow, because in one iteration of the Dollmaker, he's a serial killer. And another one, which this one's kind of represents, is he turns them into cybernetic creatures. And I'm like, holy crap, man, they really were going dark here. So I was really impressed by that, and that really was very entertaining. Of course, stupid Robin, a.k.a. Damien, I won't do anything till you get there, Dad. Ugh. Slap the kid upside the head. I'm sorry. This is just so stupid. And I'm just like, oh. I'm like, come on. And so, of course, Batman gets there just in the nick of time to help save the day. And I think that is well done. I like it. I think it's action packed. I think it's got a lot of great fun there. And the capturing of Dollmaker was really fantastic too. And then of course, leading up to kind of your endpoint, Mr. Andres, where Damian is escaping Wayne Manor and everything. That's your common father son kind of thing going on there. Some might find it entertaining, some might not find it entertaining. I prefer the father to be in charge. That just to me seems like the logical thing, especially when the child's only 10. But at the same time, that's just how it does work. I feel that happens more when they reach more teen years versus 10, but they want to go that route, have them that young, that's fine. But I think overall that portion, that wasn't anything great. I didn't think it was anything entertaining or added to the film, but that whole beginning section I thought was really well done. So up to your point, I think it's not too bad.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. I mean, yeah, we could thought about that, like what you call a system thing that Bruce put on Damien. Like, I thought it was going too far. It's like, come on, just alarm. That's all. The electric beam, or this whenever traction went up down. Like, that was going too far, I think. But I agree, you're a cyber. I mean, he's the father, and I mean, he is biological, so. But yeah, so I don't know what to say about these two. I mean, they're very crazy people. Okay, so let's move on along. Great job, guys. Following night, so just going from here. So following night, Bruce goes out as Batman, where he kind of tracks down the source of the feather that he got from the dead corpse of Dollmaker, leading into a scene where he finds it came from like a large preserved owl. And during this time, we get this was funny, like a quick flashback of, the origin story, as Jess said before. At first, I was like, oh, we were seeing his dad, comforting him about the story about this is a thing from the comic books, that quarter owl's life, which is creepy. If you haven't played the game Gotham Knights, because they had this as well, and I think some of the TV shows like Gotham had this. The live is very creepy. They used that effectively, and I was happy they kept that here. And in a special note, actually, for the Thomas Wayne actor here, our very own, who is truly the only Batman that's going to be number one, is Kevin Conroy voiced Thomas Wayne. He voiced him here. That was really cool to see that one of the Batmans is here. By the way, we have another Batman voice actor as well who plays one of the major villains here, but I will point that out later. It's not the first time Kevin Conroy voiced Thomas Wayne. He did one in the TV show The Batman, and also he did it, I think, in Batman Brave and the Bold. In Batman Brave and the Bold, he voiced the Phantom Stranger, and he played a alternate version of Batman in this alien planet that I'm blinking on to. But yeah, so it's not the first time Kevin Conroy voiced a Thomas Wayne, but it was really cool to see hear Kevin Conroy voicing Thomas Wayne, the father of Bruce Wayne. And then another thing, drink as just like justice is not vengeance. You had to drink every time we had to see the Wayne's death. I was like, okay, like I see his parents there, and then the next shot we get the alley. I was like, come on, it's like you don't need to show me that again. This is ridiculous. Like as Jeff said before, it's like, come on, like I already know who's Batman's origin story. It's just, oh my god, just very, very annoying. And then we get the last scene of the flashback where Afrin is kind of telling Wayne about the reason why that happened, why his parents got killed. And after we get out from that flashback that was annoying, Bruce gets ambushed by a group of owl costume assassins, basically the talents here. This was a good action scene. It was really cool to see the talents in full force. You see them here attacking Bruce so brutally. He gets a lot of cuts, which I was surprised. I thought the suit was bulletproof, but I'm not swordproof, I could say. And each very cool detail about talents, like they look like zombies. like they look like they're not humans. Because we saw one of the masks took off from the talent there, and then when Bruce is pretty much like beaten up to the death, like the two talents like completely like disintegrate into ooze, which was kind of creepy. And so after that scuffle, Bruce has a sense like a distress call from Dick Grayson to like pick him up, which he gets a call for Afrin to like get you know, what's it get Bruce Wayne out of this trouble. And the same time we get Damian. After this we got Damian escaping from the Wayne Manor again, and he's meeting up with Talon again. He stopped two of these muggers attacking these two innocent citizens of Gotham, and then the Talon persuades Damian to follow him, talks to him about that look, your mentor Bruce Wayne or your mentor Batman is good and all, but he's not going to cross the line I'm going to do racially. So he's trying to push Damian's buttons to cross that line where Batman is not going to do. So that was all interesting. And so let me stop there, and let me go with you, Jeff. What you thought about Batman getting ambushed by the talents, and then up to Damian meeting up with this talent that takes him to this apartment. Go ahead.
What was the last thing you said when about going to the apartment?
It was like his lair, somewhat like his secret lair. That
when him and Damian went there. Okay, yeah. All right, I got you. I mean, that was probably the coolest. For me, probably the coolest action scenes of the whole movie were Batman getting attacked. That was pretty brutal. I mean, as far as PG-13 goes, right? Honestly, I don't know how realistic it really was. I mean, in terms of how much punishment Batman received overall. I mean, he got stabbed double fisted with shurikens into his back. I just don't know how realistic it is that any normal human being could handle that. Just go I don't know, go get patched up or whatever, afterwards, you know what I mean? And be fine, the next day, you know what I mean? Or whatever, they portrayed it in the movie, I just don't know how realistic that really is at the end of the day. I would imagine that he got Batman got stabbed 4 or 5 times. He got stabbed, he got slashed 10 times or whatever, he got slashed by a claw at one point on his leg and split his leg wide open. I don't know. That shit was crazy. I just was kind of shocked that I mean, of course it's Batman, so he's going to survive, I know that, right? I'm not surprised by that, but and I like seeing, what's his name? Darkwing or whatever, Batwing or whatever the fuck his name is.
Nightwing?
Nightwing, yeah, he's cool. He's always a plus in my mind when it comes to seeing Batman animated, stuff. I always like seeing him. He's never a negative for me. I always like him as an addition. So, I mean, I don't really have much to say about, the pursuit by Talon, with Damian, as a sort of a side story, throughout the film. I'm whatever about it, kind of, you know what I mean? I didn't really understand it. Why Damian would be that valuable or whatever, or anybody would take that much time to get him to cross the line, this seems like a silly, thing to put effort into, I don't know. That's it.
Thank you. So Saber, you're next. Pretty much the attack on Batman with the talents up to Damian being talked to the main talent. I don't know. We haven't given his name yet, but go ahead. Cyber, you're next. Oh.
Okay. What was the endpoint again?
The talent talking to Damien and his secret lair.
Okay. So quite a bit goes on in that section. I mean, we have a lot of course back and forth between Damien and Bruce. We have the whole situation where we find out that the Quarter Owls are coming into the picture. We get the kidnapping of Bruce, which was interesting. Them doing that high chase sequence and then the car crashing, which was pretty epic. We also have the whole situation with him fighting the Talons and stuff like that, and that was quite interesting, especially after he's fighting them and then all of a sudden they disintegrate. I was like what the hell just happened? That was weird. And so, until they finally kind of mentioned that, like towards the end of the film, I didn't understand what went on there. I'm like, why did they all of a sudden just disintegrate? I was like, what the hell? And I was like, that's just odd because there's nobody there. Nobody popped up to like say, oh, I'm here to save you, Bruce or Batman or whatever, So that was kind of weird. But then when they kind of, brought that up later on, I was like, oh, okay, now I get it. All right. But I mean, lots of great action. Of course, that's when Nightwing comes into the picture here too, as well, to babysit Damien. Of course, who is the first Robin, Dick Grayson, who I absolutely love. I think the voice talents in this were really decent. I really like Jason O'Mara. I think he does a great job. Besides, Kevin Conroy as Batman, like his voice sounds very much like Batman, I feel. And I think he does a really good job. So, having them both do voiceovers in the picture was fun. Because actually, Kevin Conroy didn't do Batman, but he did do Batman's father in this. So I thought that was kind of fun. But yeah, I mean, the whole situation with, kind of Damien here and stuff like that. And, him fighting with Dick and then him, ended up getting to the end point of where you dropped off the story. With meeting Talon and having that conversation with him in his headquarters, that was really interesting because you're kind of like, he's like taking him under his wing. You're like, why is this guy taking him under his wing? Like, what's going on here? Why, if you're trying to stop criminal stuff, you kind of get that picture like, oh, maybe he's a vigilante that just takes things too far. He's more like Deadpool versus, Daredevil, or he's more like, like Punisher versus, if Batman was taking care of someone, So it was kind of one of those situations. And I thought the outfit, the owl look and something like was really cool. But at the same time, I still think that the structure of how they drew him was just kind of a bit odd. He was very lengthy and not wide enough, I felt, to go with his length. So he kind of looked weird to me sometimes. He looked like kind of like a bowling pin a little bit. But I thought that the mask thing, the owl mask, was cool, which to me, totally, as soon as I saw those masks, all I could think of was Court of Owls. That was like the first thing that all I could think about. And so I think that's one great thing about this film is that we get the Court of Owls in it, which was really fun. And I really liked that. And I thought that was really cool. And so getting to see that was really awesome as well. So I think this is a decent section leading up to the Talon kind of trying to bring in Robin with him and become like kind of like his partner. That was kind of interesting. And I think overall the action really was the biggest portion of, best part about this section that I found entertaining.
No, I agree. This definitely was a step up from the last movie where it was like so slow with this pacing. Here it was like, okay, like we know like the enemies, they got everything like just pumping right away with the talents, which is great. Jesse, your thoughts on the talents attacking Batman and then Damien talking to the main talent throughout this film in his secret lair. Go ahead, sir.
All right.
And Nightwing as well. I totally forgot Nightwing.
Yeah, old Nightwing, yeah. Nightwing coming in there, being the babysitter, and then those two sparring, and you're rooting for Nightwing, but Damien ends up getting the better of him. Which really kind of makes you go, oh man, how good is this kid? I mean, we joke and say, hey, smack the kid. This kid can smack back too. He's got some skills and he was able to, put Nightwing on his ass. So then, that his training with the League of Assassins has been definitely just something you don't want to mess with. You do not want to get in a fight with this kid because he may be able to hurt you pretty good. I want to real quick just kind of point out that I think it was about this time where I started to notice like the sound design of the film. I was listening to it on a home theater system, and I mean, the surround sound was amazing. The way that they engineered what you hear is probably one of the better like animated films and audio that I've seen that went together. It really went well. I started to notice here, and then there's another couple spots later on in this film where I was like, wow, they put some thought into what was going on here. So kudos to them for doing that, because I think they did a superb job of making it sound just amazing. The only other thing I really want to throw out here, because you guys touched on most of what I had too, this Damien is like, 10 years old. He's at an age where he is trying to find his agency. He's trying to become a young man, and he's starting to believe in a certain way. And a lot of times your parental figures are not going to harbor the same beliefs that you do, or it's going to feel like they're making you believe, or trying to persuade you to look at the world one way when you start to look at the world a little bit different. That's a lot of what this comes down to is Damien. And this film really is more a Damien film than it is a Batman film, in my opinion. But you're watching Damien, believe he's been told one thing for 10 years. He was told one thing, and now Batman's come in and say, no, you got to do it this way. And then here comes another guy who's like, what are you listening to this guy for? Why are you listening to your dad? You're listening to your daddy to tell you what's going on here? Why don't you, you could take care of these criminals just like that. You have the skills to do it. And as a matter of fact, there's a lot of people with that same argument, fictional and real, that say Batman should, kill the villains in order to make sure that crime stops. So here comes a person that kind of says that exact same thing. And Damien's kind of with it. He believes Talon a little bit here. He wants to give Talon a chance to show like, okay, maybe this is the right way to do things. A lot of times when it comes down to it, Damien's going to have to make a choice as to whether he takes care of business or not, just like he did with the doll maker. Is he going to kill this person so he doesn't have to worry about him again? So that's a lot of what you get here. So I could see where Damien is like conflicted. We'll just put it that way, because he believes one way and he hears his dad in his ear the other. And he's just like, here's a guy that's doing exactly what I want to do. And it seems to be working for him. I'll hang out with him for a little bit longer. So I did like the Talon scene. You guys talked about it. I'll just throw my 2 cents in there where all the Talons were coming at him. And yeah, when one of them like melted, I was like, what is up with all this? But it was a violent fight. And it also gave Batman the opportunity to cut loose on some villains. Cause usually he's going to hurt some guys, but he doesn't kill, right? Well, these guys he could kill, because as soon as he saw one melt, he was like, okay, gloves are off. But he definitely paid the price with a few things not going his way, specifically some stabs in the back and in the legs and all over the place. So, but there you go. There's my thoughts.
Thank you, Jesse. Yeah. I never thought about that. Yeah, it definitely feels more like a Damien movie than a Batman one. I should think, Damien, despite how annoying he is, as Cyber brought up before, like, he has the most interesting arc throughout the film. Like, this is a kid that's trying to find, like, his way of, is justice is vengeance, or justice is not vengeance? And, like, should I kill or not? That's such an interesting dilemma, like, for Batman to face. But seeing it as a Robin is kind of cool, because we don't rarely see that with Robin sometimes, and that's always cool to see that here. But I kind of wish Damien had just a better personality.
Right. Right, dude.
You know, I just kind of wish that we get a better Robin who was just less like a prick and more, like like as a I mean, not like Nightwing, but like like at least have fun and he's like a not like a listenable kid. But anyway, okay, really good job, guys. So let's get back to this. So after that, after the meeting with the talent, right? Because Robin takes what do you call that stick? Because I know Raph from Ninja Turtles carried that. Like, was it a staff or you call it? Whatever that weapon was that Damien gets from the
Sai. It was
the Sai,
yeah.
Yeah, so Robin has the Sai. If anyone knows, that's the weapon that Raph, from Ninja Turtles used as his main weapon for the franchise. If you're into that franchise as well, so like that's actually appropriate weapon for Damien actually, because he definitely feels like a Raph to me.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I'm surprised they never give him that weapon. But anyway, so he comes back, and of course, Nightwing, aka Dick Grayson, is tending Bruce wounds, and after the battle, and he asks him, "Where were you?" That typical father. Where were you? Why you were sneaking out? Were you with a girl? Or what were you doing? Like it's just not like that, but like typical parenting thing. And he sees he has a weapon, and he gets really angry, and then he storms out. It's like, wait here, I think I'm gonna send you to what is it, Switzerland or Sweden, something like that, for a boarding school. I was like, really bad, man. You're gonna think this kid will be like locked up in a boarding school? He's gonna easily escape. So he goes out, talks to Dick, he hides the weapon, and this secure bolt in one of these drawers, and he talks about Robin. It's like I like that Nightwing does defend Dick here. Nightwing defending Damien here, because he's telling, look, he's just a kid. He just is having like he's adjusting this kind of life. After what so many years with the League of Assassins. And I agree, like Damien, like I said before, Damien is having a tough time, being this like following these rules of this like moral code that he never been followed at all for his life as an assassin. That's difficult switch. And and of course Batman tells him that like raising you, Nightwing, you were different because at least you had like boundaries. You were taught by good people before they were taken away from you. You were more like functional at the point when I took you. You understood the rules and all that, and of course, because he was trained to be efficient, especially the role he was in the circus. The circus, you have to be especially his role was very like dangerous. I mean, the flying acrobats is crazy. So I really like that scene, and then of course Damien hears that, and after that, we get the next scene where I think Bruce is driving to meet his girlfriend, Samantha Weaver. But as I think Saber brought this up, or one of you guys brought up, this is okay. But like a group of thugs in the owl mask, which is a thing from the comic books, run him over to the road, so he missed out with his dinner date, and they take him to his headquarters where they meet the leader, the Grandmaster. So the Grandmaster is the face of the Court Owls, and he offers Bruce the chance to join them. As he as Bruce learns that every generation of the Wealth has been part of the Court Owls. If you don't know, the Lord of Court Owls, like one of the elite of Gotham, are part of the Court Owls, as been stated in the comic books. And so he kindly like told them that let me think about it, if you don't mind. I'm surprised they'd say sure, but don't waste your time. And he secretly put a tracker device in the mask so that he could come back as Batman. That was a cool move from Batman. That was nice. And so he gets blinded again, and he returns to the Wayne Manor and his damaged car. That was funny. Unaware, and plus what is this? The court is unaware that he's Batman, so they don't know he's Batman. So they know Batman, but they don't know Bruce Wayne is the same person. So after that, we get Bruce infiltrating the core headquarters, and And this is where it was really great. This is from the comic books, is from the Court of Owls, where Batman does infiltrate the court headquarters, and he's dosed by a hallucinant gas, where he causes him to see the future, where Damian becomes a murderous vigilante, which that was creepy. When I mean, I agree with Jeff. It was so annoying we got to see again the origin story again, but then seeing it was Damian Wayne being Batman, which that's from another comic book that is really great. That it's like the Batman Beyond, but with Damian Wayne. I will highly recommend for you guys to read that story. Great storyline where here, it's the one shot Batman, Robin, Future End. If you guys were curious about where they got this idea from, it's a really cool Elseworld story where Damian Wayne takes over as Batman, and we see this cool moment where Bruce is like so shocked about this. He just literally takes all the shots from Damian, and like he does the Doctor Who thing from season 3. If you know what I'm saying here, he hugs him. He's like, "I'm sorry, Damian," and like we see now like a child version of Damian, and it's like, yeah, of course, he's being harsh, but he's trying to be a good dad. He just doesn't know how to open up his feelings to his like actual son. So after that, he is what do you say, like he's pretty much gets the gas out of his system, his body, because he gets rescued by Nightwing, Afrin, Pennyworth, and then at the same time the same time here we see that Damian is working with the Talon, and like he's teaching him. He's kind of doing what the Shredder did in Ninja Turtles, the first one, the 90s one, where he's like teaching him to do the bad things that was like the inverse of Batman. Like he's teaching him how to, try again to kill. But because the voices in Batman is like forcing him not to kill, shows that he's still leaning toward Batman. And the Talon is really frustrated. And then I think after this point, we get the reveal that for both villains, that the Grandmaster is actually the girlfriend that Samantha Reeving, the Bruce girlfriend, is actually the Grandmaster, and then the Talon is this other character made up for this film. And let me just briefly this is the ending point here, but in the comic books, the Talon was actually a secret, I think, brother of Bruce Wayne in the New 52. Which this movie didn't do. So I was happy they didn't do the brother thing from the comic book. So it was good that they made this like opposite Batman, where he had like a tragic story where he was in the low class. His father used him. We get the story where he got used by his father because he was trying to be the best thief, and then, but because he gets beaten because he was a drunk and like he was abusive to this main talent here, and what he did kind of like undermine. Well, he betrayed his father by calling the police, and he gets killed, and he gets recruited by the Court Owl, so he becomes the main talent as this story. So much better storyline here. I like that they went with this. I like how opposite he is as Batman, like where he's pretty much a true like basically Catman, Catwoman meets Phantasm basically, but with the Talon mask, which is cool. So let me get back to you. Let me start with Cyber. Cyber, what you thought about the Batman hustling gas, his like trippy, scarecrow kind of like attack from the Court Owls, and then seeing and getting the reveal of the main villains, their backgrounds. Go ahead. That's the stuff we point, sir.
So I mean, like the whole trip out thing, that's not shocking from the Court of Owls. So I was kind of expecting something like that to happen when he reappeared to them to give him his answer after his last time there, saying, he has to think about it. And, of course, kind of shaming him, showing that, his son will become, this person that becomes evil and destroys the whole world and shit like that was cracking me up a little bit. I was just like, I'm like, Bruce, you just said 5 minutes ago, you're like, I've been through this stuff before. I know it's all fake. And yet you allow yourself to get into it. I'm like, what a dummy. I'm like, you just said you had it, and then you're like, you felt like a little bitch. I'm like, oh, come on. And I'm like, Bruce. And so I'm like thinking to myself, I'm like, okay, come on, rile yourself up, Batman, rile yourself up, And, of course, kind of go into the reveal of, the enemies and everything like that. And the Court of Owls peoples, I think it's interesting that, that the head one is a woman. That was surprising. I wasn't expecting that. And then, of course, finally seeing Talon's face and everything for the first time, too. That was interesting. And for a split second, I always thought it was, I thought it was Dick Grayson for a second because they looked almost exactly similar. I was like, they didn't really differentiate those two. I'm like, not very well. You guys need to get better. And so that's what that great scene where they're together and they had, I guess, slept together. I'm assuming they were both naked. And I'm like, this part, I was like, holy crap, they should have just made this R just with full tilt here. I mean, you should have went with this, guys. I mean, I think that would have made this film even better. Probably would have made Jeff like it even more too, even though he hated it. But even after that, I'm like, oh man, they got pretty close there. I was like, holy shit. But I was like, okay, fine. And then of course, we learn a little bit more there. I think this is also where we learn a little bit more about the other Talons. We see their crypto cubes, whatever you want to call them, their coffins. There's that one naked person in the thing that we see, and they went for the nakedness again there. I was like, nice, okay, great job, guys. And I was like, oh, these giant cylinders are keeping them alive. Interesting. But then they kind of mention how they only last so many hours. I'm like, what are these guys like on batteries? I'm like, what the hell is this? Maybe get some Duracells, maybe that'll make it better for them. Maybe they'll last longer if you get some Duracells over those, alkaline or whatever shit you got. But then that kind of explained why those other guys at the beginning of the film, why they, disintegrated like they did. I'm like, oh, that makes a lot more sense now, So I thought that was, that whole section was very interesting, very intriguing. I really enjoyed it because it really gave me more of a interest in the Court of Owls and everything, kind of what they're about more. And of course, in other, comics and other TV shows and stuff like that, we've seen the Court of Owls a little bit too. We saw a little bit of them Gotham and stuff like that. And, unless you really have read the comics, you're a big comic book fan, unless you do some research, you're not really going to know much about the Court of Owls. And so, watching this really got me more interested in them. And I kind of did a little bit more research on them because it just intrigued me. And I think that is one thing I will give super credit to this film is, getting you intrigued in the comics themselves, wanting to learn more and read the comics, stuff like that. And I think that is one thing that these DC studio movies always did, is I think it really piqued people's interest into the actual comics. Because a lot of the times they will take several things and amalgamate it into these, but that sparks your interest, like, oh, what differentiates these two from each other? So I think I have to give them credit for that because it really does spark your interest. I think this is a pretty decent section, and it really intrigued me. I thought it was really interesting.
Thank you, Cyber. Yeah, I agreed. That's one thing I like more about DC over Marvel, because I mean, Marvel, does adapt, storylines we know, from either the MCU or outside of them, like the formerly X-Men franchise. They did adapt, these iconic ones, but not like DC where they tell you like, hey, we're really adapting, this famous arc. I mean, we're in 23 movies. Half of their direct to views have been adapting these big storylines. Like Jesse has been a couple of them, like All Stars. I don't know, All Star Superman is a big one. Dark Knight Returns. I brought it up. Like it's always good that education, and I think you guys will like the chorales. That's why, like I know it's out here, but the Batman part too. Why so many people are speculating that the Court of Owls could be in the Robert Pattinson ones because they had so much potential to be good threat against that version of Batman. But we'll see. It's not that realm. I mean, it's just like you have to like rework it into that live action version. Make it be what it is. Stuff like that. So very good, Cyber. Jesse, your thoughts on the whole Batman getting gassed by the Court of Owls, and then of course the twists and reveal of the Court of Owls plans and all that. Go ahead.
All right. Yeah, so we got 80 minutes in this film, and there is a lot of like stuff that we've got to get in here to kind of solidify your knowledge or give you a taste of what the Court of Owls is all about. And I agree with Cyber there. Like, this leaves you kind of wanting more. That's what I was expecting. I thought this was going to be a little bit longer, or it could have went a little bit longer, because, you know, you kind of want to know a little bit more about the Court of Owls and what they do. And you get the basics, but they're just kind of there. And, you know, we get our introduction here to like this, what I thought was felt like almost like a courtroom, you know, Batman standing in front of him. I thought for a second they had a lawyer for him. I didn't know what the heck was going on, but the gassing of the bat is always, it seems like that happens quite a bit in the comics. You know, he gets hit with some acid or some type of hallucinogenic drug, and he's tripping out. When that was kind of expected. But I will just go ahead and point out that, man, Batman gets his butt handed to him quite a few times. How many times has he had to get rescued in this film? Like, because he gets, I mean, it's quite a bit. It's quite a bit. So it's interesting they went that route. The only other thing I'll talk about real quick is Talon as a villain. We learned about what his backstory is here. And yeah, I'll agree, Andreas. This is a great, a kind of a villain that you can kind of understand their motivation. The mirror image kind of Batman thing that you were talking about there really does make him feel like he's a good villain for this film. Probably one of the better ones that I've seen. So much respect for Talon here and what they did to come up with him and his backstory. I think it fit the film well. It gave him a good villain, as you guys probably know, is one that you can agree with sometimes. They are somebody that you can look at and go, okay, well, I can kind of see his point, but he's going about it the wrong way. That's kind of what you get with Talon here, is you kind of identify with what he's doing, but is it right? Is what he's doing wrong? You're leaning towards wrong here. You want to see Talon, you don't want to see Damian hanging out with Talon, but you can understand where Talon's coming from. That's kind of where I was getting at. So that's all I had for my part there.
No, that's good. It's really good, insightful, Jesse. I really like it. And I'm just adding to your point about the villain. Another thing that was interesting, looking back on it, with his father being like such a, drunk and bad, father. He wants to be a better father than his father was. So
right.
So like, it's really cool to see that, like, he's this opposite of Batman, where he wants to be a better father than Batman. So it's really cool that they went that way. And as Cyber said before, like, if you do a little digging, I'm happy they changed whatever they did with the talent, because the main talent from the comic books is like this, like, twin brother of his name, Thomas Wayne Jr. It's just so complicated thing. So I'm happy they got rid of that. Yeah. And I like this new version of the talent here, where he's just a professional thief that just became part of this group. Okay, we're back. And just, wants to take in Robin because he has potential. So that's very good. Jeff, you're up, sir. What you thought about the Batman getting gassed by the Court Owls, and then the whole twist and reveal about the Court Owls' evil plans? Go ahead, sir. That's the end point.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like a soft part of the film, I guess. It kind of sets up the ending, I guess you could say, right? But not really a super enjoyable or entertaining part of the film, really. Again, like the courting of Damian by Talon and everything, whatever about the Court of Owls, like, just, I don't know, it wasn't very interesting really as like a villain with Talon. Like, it could have been more, I guess. I think could have done more with it. Having the girlfriend be the head of the the owls. I didn't even realize that when I was watching the movie. So that's actually very interesting. I didn't even know that. I didn't even make the connection, to be honest with you. I'd never even made that connection when she died. I was like, I didn't even know. Yeah, I mean, like the stuff where it's just like Talon and Damien out there on their missions or whatever, killing bad guys or whatever, kind of or whatever, and then we get into him trapping Damien eventually and all that, I don't know, it's whatever to me. Again, it's this is not my favorite movie. I would have liked to have gotten like more of a backstory. What's up, Room Upstairs podcast? Yeah, I'd like to get more of a backstory, I think, on like what those zombie like creatures or whatever that they had in the lab. Like if they could have explained them just a little bit at least, like where they came from, like how they're alive, like did they dig them out of a grave or something, like, or they find them in the ground, and like put them in those tubes and like regenerated them, like a battery kind of deal. I don't know. So yeah, I mean, they could have done a little, like just something like of a backstory with those, those characters, the zombie creatures. Besides that, really, I mean, I'm just like not a super big fan of Damien. Alfred has some solid scenes. He's good as usual in the film, but I'm not a big Damien fan at the end of the day.
No, I kind of with you, Jeff. I mean, everyone is kind of with you. The Damon character here is like such a prick.
I don't believe he can fight Batman like to a standstill or whatever. You know what I'm saying? In a physical fight or whatever. I just don't believe that.
Okay. I mean, I can understand where you're coming from. I mean, at the same time, it's possible, really, because he was trained by the League of Assassins. That's the thing. Where it was the other Robins, yeah, I agree with you that like there's no way. Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, he is 10, but we're gonna move on. But like
a grown man.
Yeah, I try to remember the last movie in the comic books because they did this thing where like he was like enhanced. I don't know, but I agree with you. But you have the disbelief, Jeff. Like we want
he'd have to be enhanced or some shit like that to fight Batman.
Yeah.
Like
I think that's what's going on, and unfortunately, they don't tell us that he's enhanced. And also, like, no one cares. I mean, they want a kid to be a Batman. Like, you want to see that? Well, that's what we got here. We got a kid be a Batman. And it's like, get this Batman, and like just beats him up, and it's like badass. And it's like, okay, Damien, I get it. You're badass. Anyway, I agree with you. He's not my favorite Robin. He's kind of like. Okay, there. And yeah, the Court of Owls, I mean there's another secret like group that's like similar to the League of Assassins, to be honest, so I can understand where you're coming from, Jeff. And I like you brought up Alfred. I really like Alfred in this movie. He's really great. The actor that voiced him is Dave McKellen. He's the actor that played the Russian agent from The Man from U.N.C.L.E. He played Ducky from NCIS. So this was his like last role before he stepped in 2023. So very good to hear him as Alfred. I think he's a good choice for Alfred. If he was in live action, I think he could have been the best version of Alfred if he was in one of those Batman movies. So let's get back to it with the recapping. Good job, everyone. So after that, we get to the Court Owl headquarters. The Talon has taken Damien to the headquarters where he's gonna be what's the word, like you get into cults and like the eyes wide shot like situation, like okay, we want you to come into our society, but you have to reveal your identity. So that's what happened. Robin has this like dilemma where like, should I join this awesome dad that wants me to kill, or just stick with Batman, who is trying to teach me as a hero, And he doesn't do that. So he decided, I don't want to do it. He does reveal his. By the way, it was actually there's one thing I do criticize this movie. Why did he chose to reveal his face to the Court Owls? That was so stupid. I'm curious what you guys thought about that, because that was so stupid when he did that. I was like, now, I mean, it doesn't matter, because Jeff brought up before when, the Grandmaster, the lady chick that's the girlfriend for Bruce for this film, gets killed by the Talon. I mean, like, the secret is dead with her. So, so Robin reveals the name, the face, and the Grandmaster is the lady. She recognizes, like, oh, okay, he is, Bruce Wayne sworn and all that, and she closes the kid with this cage. But as usual, the talent had its own agenda. So basically, after the Grandmaster tells him that we're gonna reject him under the decision to emotionally cripple Bruce, and with Damian step up, throwing the talent to attack the core, killing several of the members in the process. I'm surprised this wasn't rated R. I mean, as Saber said before, we saw some brief nudity. We saw like a bunch of chopping heads. Well, no, chopping. I mean, cuts. Sorry, I'm thinking about Game of Thrones, folks, because I saw a chopping head of a horse. Awful. But anyway, so like a lot of brutal rated R type. So I'm very surprised this movie was PG or whatever it was rated. So after the talent kills all the court owl members in the process before killing the Grandmaster, who is revealed to be Samantha. We know that, so it wasn't like a big shock. I'm like, come on. Like it was funny. She had the voice changer to make her like a man. I was like, oh, okay. So now having control of the cord, he has Damian. He puts him in one of the containers where they stored the talent. In the comic books, this is a good point, Jeff. You brought up who are I think the talent in the comic books were their top assassins they had. They're kind of reanimated corpses. They were kind of Frankenstein monsters, basically, where they're kept in storage, frozen for many years, and then the Court Owls waking them up, kind of like the Winter Soldier in the MCU when the Hydra wakes up Bucky to do their missions to assassinate all that. That's what the Court Owls do sometimes with these creatures, the talent. They awaken these talents to do all their evil magnamations and missions that they have for them. So that's what they are, and so they basically these zombie corpses that get frozen out of their chambers. So that's what happened, and that's where Damian realized that that's their advantage. They can freeze them because they cannot survive in zero temperatures, he said to Afrin. So we get that, and that was really cool. At least Damian's being smart in this movie, at least than the last movie, I have to say. But then here we get another cool. I didn't expect this. I didn't expect they were gonna adapt a couple of the moments that I liked from the comic book Court Owls. So after that, the talent brings all the talent assassins attack on Wayne Manor. This was cool. Seeing Batman, Nightwing, and Alfred offending them in Wayne Manor was really cool. Seeing Nightwing getting hurt by them was really shocking. I was like, whoa, they were very fast. Attacking the house was really cinematic. It reminded me of X2, when that mansion was attacked by William Stryker. It's basically that, but assassins attacking Bruce Wayne's manor. And so, Alfred is in the Batcave, so he's kind of safe, and he's trying to do something to give Bruce a advantage of this big weapon we don't know. And so, while Batman and Nightwing in up the surface, they're trying to defend them, defend the talent from killing them. But after they arrive, this is where Alfred gets the message with Damian about how to defeat the talent. And then here, Batman and Nightwing are in the Batcave, but the doors are not going to hold for long because they're going to break in right away, and they did. And so Batman goes into this basically Ripley from Aliens, go to this another area, and then he comes out just like Dexter's Laboratory or Ripley for Aliens. Get away from here, you bitch! And he gets this mega, Batman suit, and he beats up all these guys, throwing one to left. And then you got Afrin being badass, and he got the shotgun. It's he just shoots them. I was like, whoa! I didn't expect that. I was like, cool moment. And then he tells Bruce look, we need to get to this chapter thing because this is how we're going to stop them. Let's freeze them to death. And so we get we get that, and it was a cool moment. And then another big shock, the talent like comes after the robot, the Bat Mecha, by using the Batmobile and his guns at it. And it was like, whoa! And like he crashes into him, and then I see that the talent thinks he subdued Batman. He comes out, he beats him a little bit, but then unfortunately, the talent confronts Bruce in a duel, but he kind of severely wounds him, which was creepy. Like especially that moment where he has like his foot, where it has the traction of his foot, and then stabs him to the back was brutal. That was like wow, that was regard. But Damian escapes the core headquarters to defend Bruce from Talon, telling him he could never be a better father than Bruce. Wow, biggest burn ever to have ever. It's like you're never gonna be a better father than Bruce Wayne because he is Batman. So he doesn't take it lightly. So Talon does the chicken thing. He just takes his own life by forcing Damian to stab him through his neck with his own side. I mean, very poetic. I love that. Like, bravo, you sir. You kill yourself. Like, great writing there. And then, I mean, this greatly traumatized Damian. Look, whatever you think about Damian, I agree with Jeff. He's not a great character to follow. He's just a very annoying, kid. But at least he's growing. He's trying to be a better person. So I appreciate that. So, like, he was greatly traumatized, and he rejects Bruce's offer to return home, be part of the family. And so he claims that he doesn't know who he is because of the multiple voices of, his mom, Raish, Batman, and then the talent recently. So Bruce calls Damon, allows him to leave, suggesting to go to a monastery in the Himalayas. He once visited as he was trying to find himself before he became Batman. And we get, that's the final scene where Damian accepts that and he goes to the monastery and end the movie. So that was the finale. So let me get to Jesse, let me hear your thoughts on the final act here. Do you love it? Do you like it? Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Any
sure. So, what a crazy final act that we had here in this film. I'm going to try and not, because I know you guys are probably going to talk about the same things that I want to. So I'm going to leave some stuff on the table for you because there's a lot that happens, a lot of really cool stuff. Batmech, the Batmech suit, we have Alfred with a shotgun, which I didn't think I'd be saying tonight on the podcast. We got this great fight scene, and I started to notice, obviously throughout the film, we have some great, I don't want to call it fight choreography, but I guess maybe it's animated, so I don't know if you can use that term. But regardless, the fight scenes felt really good to me, and this last one is definitely no slouch. So we get a great fight scene. I feel like though the writers of the film, maybe the writers of the comic, I don't know, but the writers of the film definitely kind of wrote themselves into a corner. You have a situation where the Court of Owls realize that Damian is Batman's son. So that everybody now knows. I'm pretty sure the Court of Owls knows this. Definitely Talon does. They know the identity of Batman. They know the identity of Damian Wayne as Robin. So by the end of this film, you can't have anybody left standing that knows that. Like, you can't. There's no way you can go on and say, okay, well, unless you're planning on another film after this, that everybody that was there knows who Batman is. So Talon and what happened to him, let's try that again. What he does to himself was kind of them writing themselves out of this corner. In this last section, and just kind of keep the focus on Talon, you start to see how, okay, you kind of identified with him previously. Now things are kind of starting to go off the rails. He's killing the Court of Owls. He's killing everybody there. He kills his girlfriend. He is now going to take all the Talons and go invade Wayne Manor. and go after Bruce Wayne, go after Batman. He puts Damian in a tube and says, "You'll be safe here," as it continues to fill with liquid. No, he won't. If that thing fills up, he's going to drown. I don't know what he's thinking. That I think is why, and I think that's possibly on purpose. I think it's a situation where you're like, okay, he's lost it. So anyway, he heads to Wayne Manor. The whole battle happens, and then at the very end of the battle, here is Damian Wayne with the sai to Talon's throat. And this was probably the most shocking moment for me in this whole film. He looks at Damian and says, "Trust your instincts, kid," and grabs it and then pushes it through his own neck and kills himself. Unalives himself. He's gone. Which is really, like I said, most shocking moment of this whole thing. I feel it's probably a combination of where the writers were like, well, how's he getting out of this? Because if he walks away and he knows who Batman is, well, then we've got a whole other problem on our hands. So he has to die in some way. And he took himself out in like the craziest way possible. And yeah, definitely I could understand it traumatizes a 10-year-old kid to watch, because he doesn't just take the sai and do it. He grabs Damian's hand and puts it through. So Damian has essentially, he didn't want to, but his hand did kill somebody. Somebody died by his hand. And the last thing I'll talk about real quick is the very end of the film. So Damian is kind of a crap character when it comes to like what his personality is. He's filled with rage. He's very impulsive, very violent at some points. And Batman's whole thing throughout this film is, at first, it's just really a story about how a father wants to protect his son from the bad stuff that's out there in the world. Don't go out, Damian. You can't go out. Now, granted, Batman doesn't handle it the way probably I shouldn't say most parents, but he probably doesn't handle it the best. Some parents are definitely like, hey, you're not going out tonight because, XYZ could happen to you. And therefore the door's locked. You're not leaving. And if you leave, you're grounded. Well, of course, Damian's kind of fighting back against that throughout this whole film. And we get a great resolution to that at the end, where Bruce finally understands that, okay, in order for my son to realize, the how to be a man and how to be a good man. That's probably the best way to put it. How to be a good man is let him make his own mistakes. Let him do his own thing. Let him be his own person. And he steps back and Damian leaves. Now, one of the things that, Bruce tells him, because we kind of flash back to that, hey, you're going to a boarding school joke, which is, I'm sure there's plenty of parents that have used that on their kids. I'm sending you to boarding school. That gets brought up again because Bruce is like, look, there's a place over in Europe or something like that. He's like, yeah, boarding school. He's like, no. He's like, it's a monastery. And this is a nice tender moment between father and son. Batman, Bruce wants Damian to find peace in his heart because he's just filled with rage all the time. And Batman's seen it and he's trying to protect him from it. And now he's finally realized, okay, look, you're going to make your own decisions. Here's one that helped me. Go to this monastery at some point whenever you feel like it, and maybe you'll find some peace. And at that point, you can come, feel free to come back, whatever you want to do. He isn't kicking him out or anything like that. He's just like, here's your option. You want to leave? Go ahead and leave. But please use this because it helped me at one point. And at the end of the film, Damian's walking across the Himalayas, heading to the monastery. So he's made a good choice. It's growth of the character. We'll put it that way. So it's kind of good to see we end on a good note. There's some hope for Damian maybe to come back and not be such a prick. So, but there you go. That's all my thoughts. I'm done.
I know. Well said, sir. Very bravo. Yeah, the secret identity, that was gonna be a good try being how to like bring it back and keep it a secret. I mean, like Batman Forever did this. Is like apparently the brainwave affected the Riddler, and now he doesn't know who's Bruce Wayne. Like, it's gonna be a good try thing. Here, it's more realistic. I think it made less sense. I mean, Talon killed everyone. I mean, mainly the Grandmaster. The Grandmaster knew who it was, so like she knew that Batman was Bruce Wayne, but the rest didn't know that. So it was like it wasn't too big like certain movies.
Gotcha.
So I understand where you're coming from, but it was a little more like it was just that one person, and the Talon knew that as well, and he kind of just did what Rich did in Batman Begins, just like okay, this is my fate, and so he just did the thing. He didn't want it to be be a failure as his dad was. So anyway, Jeff, any thoughts on the finale? You liked it? What you thought of it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure, like, overall, really how fond I really was about Talon or whatever, sort of, in a way being the main villain or whatever of the film at the end. I don't know. I mean, he was okay, like, in action scenes and stuff like that, he was fine, and all that. But I don't know, just his origin story was a little flat, and being raised by the owls or whatever, like that. I don't know, they could have done more, maybe with his backstory. And then like, how many animated like corpse people did they have there at the end? Because there was a lot of them, in that final battle. Like, when they left the lab, there was only like 10 tubes or whatever that had water in them or whatever, and then they showed up for the final battle and there was like 100 of them all of a sudden. I was like, what's going on with that? Again, love Dick Grayson, but he gets double stabbed by Talon, like to a wall with daggers or whatever, and hung up in the air like that, suspended. And Batman just pulls him off the wall and takes him to Alfred, and they like patch up his wounds or whatever, and he's fine or whatever, like, come on, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not realistic, like, you'd be really fucked up if somebody like stabbed you through your fucking shoulder or whatever, like into a wall, you know what I'm saying? And then stuck you to the wall with the fucking blades and shit. Like, you'd be fucked up, dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, you would not be fighting after that. Like, you'd be done. Like, that'd be it for you. You know what I'm saying? You wouldn't be fighting for a while. Mm-hmm. So, like, again, like, just, I don't know. Even in DC animated, usually they try to keep it pretty real with Batman, when it comes to the violence and, deaths and stuff like that. In this movie, they really went over the top with, like, the punishment that Batman can take and fucking, Dick Grayson can take, and they're just chilling afterwards, like getting bandaged up and then going and fighting again. I don't know about all that. I mean, I guess at the end, like, Damian's gonna go to school or whatever, in the mountains, like in Tibet or some shit or whatever, like, I guess, I don't know. Sounds boring to me. I wouldn't want to go to that school. You know what I'm saying? Fuck that, bro. Probably not even any women there. You know what I'm saying? Like, fuck that. So, and then like Damian saying in the movie, like, I don't give a damn about money or whatever. Like, what are you talking about, motherfucker? Like, money is money. You know what I'm saying? Like, somebody offers you some money, it's money. Like, I want to hear that shit. I'm sure you want fucking Xbox 360. You know what I'm saying? All that shit, So that shit costs money, motherfucker. Cell phone costs money. You You know, it's not cheap. Unless you've got Visible, like I do, this shit is cheap. The customer service is horrible. It's terrible. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's digital. It's terrible. You know? It's like some person from India or whatever, you know, like, they're going, fuck. But that's what you get for $15 a month. You know? That's cheap. But it's still money. And so I don't really know. I'm just not down with that whole statement at all. Yeah, I mean, it's an okay movie, and the ending is okay. Like the seeing Alfred with the shotgun was really cool. You know, like actually like participating in the fight and all that. That was dope. You know, Alfred would look like a fucking gangster with that shotgun. He had a lot of shells in that motherfucker too. Like, holy fuck, he didn't even reload or nothing. He was just shooting that motherfucker. You know, like 100 times or whatever. You know, but he dropped a lot of bodies with that motherfucker. That just shows you how many reanimated zombie corpse people there were at the end, the assassins or whatever. There's a lot of them because Alfred shot 100 of them, and there was still 100 left. You know, so and then Batman getting into that big metal suit, that was dope. That's always cool to see that. You know, that was good. But then like his metal suit bitched out at the end, like it really kind of like pussied out. You know, like really quick. That was lame. You know, like come on, man. If you're gonna have the metal suit, you gotta like finish the battle with the metal suit. You know, you don't like pussy out like halfway through and jump out and fight. I don't know about all that, but yeah, man. Batman sure like does carry a lot of like he has a lot of explosives and shit like that and everything like on him for this final battle. You know, for the zombie people. And I'm like, where's he keeping all that on him? You know, I guess on his utility belt probably. But all right, so that's it.
Very good, Sir Jeff. Okay, by the way, if they didn't care about the money, if this was a comedy movie, yeah, like they will take the money and buy a bunch of shit. You know, this is Robin the Boy Wonder. He's not gonna do anything with money. He's the most powerful assassin that kills efficient. He's John Wick, but as a kid, folks. Just let you know. So anyway, Cyber, you're up, sir. Your thoughts on the finale. Go ahead.
My turn?
Yes, your turn.
Okay. It's the conclusion of the film?
Yep. Yes,
okay.
Yes.
So, I mean, the conclusion is pretty decent. I mean, there's quite a bit of fighting. I mean, when Talon decides to kill all the Court of Owls, I thought that was pretty damn cool. That was, like, freaking insane, him doing all that to get Robin to be on his side even more because he felt like he saw himself with the kid. And I was kind of cracking up like, dude, he already proved he's nothing like you by not killing the last two people you asked him not to kill or have you kill. So yeah, he definitely is not the same as you, bro. And so when he gets all pissy at him, but I'm like, just kind of cracking. I'm like, dude, like, do you need a napkin? Do you need a cry in the background? Because he's not just like you as a little kid. I'm like, oh, geez. I'm like, this is retarded. And so, but like that action sequence, you know, when he releases all the undead, if you want to call them that, the other Talons, and Robin gets stuck in one of the cylinders. I thought that was pretty cool. And he has to get himself out. That was pretty cool. But the action I thought was really decent. I mean, it was action packed, the whole end portion. We had a lot of great action. I mean, when the Iron Suit came out, I was like, woohoo! I love Iron Suits. It makes me think of Ironmonger and Iron Man 1. It makes me think of, you know, when they did the Iron Suit for Captain America and What If and stuff like that. It totally gives me that vibe. Almost gives me Iron Giant vibes a little bit sometimes. And that was just freaking awesome. I'm like, it's like the Hulk Buster all over again. And so when he comes up with that, I was like, oh, that's freaking sweet. That's awesome. That was a cool thing to bring in. But like how easily it gets screwed up, though, I was like, that kind of sucks. I'm like, that doesn't really, it's not a very good machine if it's getting screwed up that easily. And then when freaking Talon comes driving with the Batmobile and shooting at it, I was like, where the hell did that come from? I'm like, how'd you even know there was a Batmobile there? Like, what the hell? But still cool though, watching that. So action packed, you know. Of course, like kind of like what everyone has said. Damien's character really was kind of like just unnecessary. I felt like this whole Son of Batman thing, the whole new Robin, stuff like that. I get that in the stories and the comics and stuff like that, and I just think that the character itself just was kind of just blasé. It was not that great of a character, and he just was like an angry little kid. And it's kind of like, you gotta kind of work things out. I get that, but at the same time, it's kind of like, I could have done without the kid. But I still think that the whole talent thing was really cool. Him trying to recruit him and stuff like that was really awesome. But them fighting in the end and stuff like that, and then Robin basically kind of kicking his butt. He could have killed him, and then Talon decides to push the thing through his own neck. I was like Jesus. I'm like, what a moron. I'm like, what the hell? What am I watching here? Like, he's trying to make himself out to be a martyr, and he's not. He's just a dumb dude that got screwed up as a kid. I was like, oh god. But anyways, still, I think great fighting, great decent voiceover work and all that kind of stuff. And I thought it ended pretty interesting. Him being sent off to that religious school. I guess that's what they were saying. I think that was kind of an interesting thing to help him center himself. And I was kind of thinking like, okay, that could be a good idea. That could be a good idea. Better than boarding school, not like military camp or something. But monastery, that might help you out. Get over your anger issues, Damien. Maybe come back, be a little more smarter, a little less retarded. That kind of good stuff. And it ended okay. It wasn't the greatest ending, but it definitely was a great lead up to the end. Lots of great action at the end. I really enjoyed that. I mean, when he goes to kill the chick he just slept with, I'm like, dude, this guy's got no heart. I'm like, this guy is definitely bad. He is a bad guy. And no, I mean, dude, you just hit that and you're gonna kill it. I'm like, hello, maybe save it for later. Maybe you come back to it. But anyways, great action, okay ending, not the greatest, but overall, I really enjoyed the film.
Thank you, Cyber. He's gonna go with the monks, find himself, maybe find some peace, or not. He will decide that he will kill again. Just disobey Batman, maybe. But yeah, so great job, guys, on the finale. It was awesome. I think so far, Afron, his shotgun has been the best thing, MVP of the movie. The stupid, I agree with Saber. I was kind of shocked that the talent had no soul. Like, he just killed his girlfriend. It's like, he had that line where he's like, I know you're going to do that to me if I was not going to do it later to you. So, like, he didn't say, like, look, you're going to do that to me, like, backstabbing him at some point, That's typical. But anyway, all right, let's get into ratings. Starting with you, Jesse. What's your rating for this film, sir? And go ahead.
Well, let's see. I'll go ahead and give it a 7. A 7. Again, I like the action that we got. It may have landed at a 6 if it wasn't for Alfred with a shotgun. So I'll give it a 7.
Alfred.
Oh my god, yeah. I'm not gonna judge you. That's probably the best, like, reasonable reason to give it a 7.
Right, it's at least worth a point. I mean, come on.
Thank you. Saber, your rating, sir, of this film.
I will give it a 9. And it's not getting a perfect or a 10 because of that goddamn Damien. Freaking awful. Awful. Other than that, the almost nakedness, the retardedness, the Fallon killing himself, as we've mentioned, Alfred the shotgun gets a point. Yes, it totally worth 9. But yeah, damn Damien, you negative it 1.
Damn you, Damien. All right, Jeff, you're ready, sir. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'll give it like a 6.5, I guess, because again, I didn't really like it that much at the end of the day. It was okay.
Yeah, I agree. Oh man, this is tough. I'll be the middle person between Jesse and Cyber. I'm gonna give this a 8.5 Afrin shotguns out of 10. I thought this was. I mean, I it was better than the first movie, Son of Batman. It was nothing special. I thought this was more action packed. I love the action here. Afrin was the MVP of this movie. I mean, look, I agree with Jesse. The shotgun was alone pushed it up to 8.5, but also the mega suit was like another tip.
Oh yeah.
But I agree. Yeah. So I agree with Cyber that the reason that it's not high enough is because Damien. Come on, like I mean, we didn't discuss but the voice casting actually. Just let me before I give it to Jeff to like wrap us up and do the the sign out with our content stuff like that, Discord stuff like that. The talent was voiced by Jeremy Siddle. He's a well-known actor from 6 Feet Under. He was Detective Cyrus from the Law and Order show back from when he was in 2008 to 2010. He's right now in the FBI franchise. If you're into that show, he's other things like Run Turn 13. He was in Clueless. Great actor. The reason I brought him up because he actually voiced Batman in my first time working with these guys in Justice League New Frontier. He voiced Batman in there. So really cool that they brought him there. I thought he was the best voice casting of this movie. The rest of the voice actors, I'm a little mixed. I think the Robin, the actor that voiced Damien, is very weak. I just don't like. He doesn't sound like a kid. I don't know what you guys think. I just don't think he's a kid. He sounds too much like an adult. Like sometimes I don't know. So I feel like he's the weakest actor. And the actor that plays Batman, I mean, I like the actor Jason Momoa, a great actor. He was in Agents of Shield in the fourth season. He's good, but I don't think he's a good Batman voice actor. I mean, it's tough to be Batman voice actors, particularly Kevin Conroy. So that's my thoughts. I just think there was just a lot of mixed things with this. Anyway, that's all I'd say. Thank you guys for being with here with Batman vs. Robin review. I hope you guys enjoyed this live stream. Thank you, everyone from the chat, from Swiss Cheese Room upstairs. Thank you for joining us. It was great to see you guys in the comments. So now I'll give it to Jeff to plug us out. That was the word. Plug us out. I don't know why I forgot about that word. And get out of here. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah. I'll go to Jesse. I'll go to you first, brother.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, doing some plugs here. Ladies and gentlemen, I do a podcast called the Source Material Comics Podcast. Our latest episode right now on YouTube is it's an episode that I'm doing with a bunch of bloggers and podcasters, at least in association. We all have a topic that we're going to talk about, and we do our own thing or we collaborate one or the other. I'm doing my own thing this time, but I'm doing something very different with than what I've done before with the Super Blog team up. This go around, we're doing a focus on time travel. So I chose a series of books that I didn't read. I think What If was mentioned earlier. This one is called What If Timequake, and it went through 5 issues of What If. So if you dig alternate reality stories, especially the Marvel What If series, you might want to check that out. But one of the fun things that I did while recording that, so I've got 5 episodes that are releasing over the next 5 days. I also made my own unofficial Timequake soundtrack that you can listen to while reading. It's free on Suno. And if you listen to the episodes, I kind of run the soundtrack in the background as I'm talking about what's going on in the book. So it's the soundtrack, I think, ended up being like an hour and 20 minutes. No lyrics except for the final 2 songs. I threw 2 little bonus songs on there that actually have some lyrics to it. So, but yeah, if you want to check that out, it was a lot of fun. I love being involved with the Superblog team up. The event in time, I think, is what's going on right now. But yeah, please feel free to check out the YouTube. We got source material popping up there. We also have Unspoken Issues, which focuses on 90s comics. And then we have Snap material, which is me and my buddy Evan getting together and talking about Marvel Snap. So if you play that on your mobile device, you can maybe check it out and hear a couple uneducated guys get together and just gripe about what's going on in the game. So that's it. Thanks for having me, guys. I had a good time.
All right. It was really good to see you, Jesse. It always is.
You guys too. Glad I got on here.
Most definitely. And hopefully we'll see you again soon. All right. Andre's the pop culture guy.
Yeah. Thank you everyone for joining us tonight for Batman vs Superman. Hopefully my narration was good. Need some improvement, but I'm getting to that. That point where I'm getting used to it. So recently put my Superman / Fantastic Four comic read crossover. I didn't know that these two biggest superhero things crossover. This is during the 90s when companies were nice. Please check this out. There's going to be a 3-parter for this comic read series because we're now done for July. This week we got our 2 big superhero movies. Fantastic Four first hits and Superman out. So I thought it'd be great to honor them. So you got this awesome comic book series. I didn't know it was there. So, and plus check out my retrospective / review on the Suicide Squad for the 2021 film from James Gunn, plus the movie review. Plus I did my top 6 Jaws moments for the classic 1975 film for this 50th anniversary. My shorts, I did review a couple of the Fantastic Four movies, the Tim Story ones. I reviewed the new movie. I saw the new movie last Friday, and I mean, no pun intended, fantastic. Love it. I thought it was better than the Superman movie this year. No offense. I thought this was better than that. Just my honest opinion. When I saw it Friday, it was so much what I wanted to be a Fantastic Four movie. I want to take. Have you guys seen this movie yet? Just a quick question. Okay. But anyway, good movie. You guys will like it when you get a chance to see it. And plus, I'm doing movie clips of the Fantastic Four 2005 movie. So you check it there. I recently posted my Flame On one with Johnny Storm. Tonight, after this podcast, I'm going to do my Endor Season 2 review, short review in the shorts. So you expect that tonight, next day. So you expect that. So thank you so much. I don't know what's the next live stream review. It'll probably be next week, next Sunday. So just, gonna check in Max to see what kind of movie me and Jeff are going to review and all that. So thank you everyone for joining us. That's my content right now.
All right, Cyber. It's all you, sir.
All right. So, if you enjoy me here on the panel or as a moderator, you can check out my solo content. You'll find me under Cyberneticshark. You'll find me on YouTube, TikTok, X, Facebook, Instagram, Patreon, pretty much anywhere there's a social media platform. As you see there, my most recent 2 videos are my movie review of The Phoenician Scheme, which is Wes Anderson's newest film. Just put that up today. If you haven't seen it, definitely check that out. Or if you haven't seen my Running Man trailer reaction, check that out too as well for the upcoming remake reboot of The Running Man, which is based off of the Stephen King novel, or short story, I should say, that was turned into a movie back in the 80s with Arnold Schwarzenegger. This time, Mr. Powell is taking on the role of the character. So looks like it's going to be an interesting film. So definitely check that out. Of course, in my most recent shorts, I did, of course, a few. I saw Fantastic Four First Steps, Opus, and Happy Gilmore, along with Eating Raoul, I Know What You Did Last Summer, and Medeia's Destination Wedding. Are my most recent mini reviews. Opus, by far, if you have not seen Opus, go check it out on HBO Max right now. It is the best film of 2025. Damn, that movie was damn good. Malkovich, you cannot beat Malkovich. He is one of the best actors of the last 40 years. He is so freaking awesome. Great film if you have not seen it, worth a watch. Surprisingly, Happy Gilmore 2 was really good. If you haven't checked out the mini review of that, check that out. And then Fantastic Four actually surprised me. It was actually not as bad as I thought it was going to be. So check out that mini review too as well. You'll be having the full reviews of those films up eventually here for you guys, along with some of these others. And thank you, Al, for watching. Those that watch, if you haven't subscribed, give us a subscription too as well. Hit that subscribe button. Keep on watching all of us here on the MCU's Bleeding Edge. Please keep watching us here on the MCU's Bleeding Edge too as well. And we appreciate all you who come by and talk to us in the comments as well. Thank you very much.
All right. Another DC animated film in the tank. Shout out and thanks to Jesse Starcher for coming by again. Thanks to Cyber for being on the panel with me. Good job, Andres, moderating tonight. And we'll see you again in digital form and in podcast form on Friday, for us on Friday, for Superman, 1979?
78 movie.
78? Okay, 1978. There you go. And we'll see you then.